Hi, I'm Tony Todd, and you're listening to the Dave and Creech Show. Stay tuned.
This is the Dave and Creech Show, the only podcast where podcaster CJ Creech and actor Dave Sheridan come together to talk all things entertainment with your favorite entertainers. Want to ask our guests a question? Tweet them to @DaveSheridan or @CJCNOV88, and they may be asked to our guests live on the show. We do have to ask you stay seated during the podcast because this ride may get a little bit hilarious. Now here's your hosts, Dave and Creech.
Hey everybody, welcome back. This is now episode 7 of the Dave and Creech Show.
We're growing up so fast, Creech.
I know. Obviously, you are Dave Sheridan, and I am Creech. And
that's right.
And we're 7 now.
We're this many. 7. Yay.
It seems like just yesterday we were just talking about episode 1, and now here we are, almost 2 full months of Dave and Creech.
I've never talked about episode 1, actually, and definitely did not talk about it yesterday. Who were you talking about it with yesterday?
Well, I will say it's 3 people. They just happen to be named me, myself, and I.
Oh, there you go. Well, now, sometime next week you'll be talking about episode 2, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Maybe 3.
I'm always stuck in the past.
Yeah, I'm in the present, Creech. Right now is episode 7. We got a lot of things we got to talk about. Mainly, get ready because I'm going to go on a 1-hour rant on Donald Trump. Somewhere between that, we'll talk about Deadpool, Kindergarten Cop 2, and Kanye West. And then, lots of other things. Obviously, The Walking Dead came back. We both watched that. That was exciting. And so we're going to chat about our thoughts on that.
Exactly. So I guess since, you're going to talk about Donald Trump for over an hour, I think it was like an hour and 20. I guess we should.
Oh, come on.
I guess we should get into the show now then. Well, how have you been, Dave?
Man, I've been really good. I've been good. It's been good.
That is definitely good. You had a good week.
Good. That is good. Everything's good. Have I had a good week? Yeah. Yeah. How about yourself?
I have been very busy working on the interviews from Days of the Dead, but everything's been going pretty well. I got a chance to see Deadpool the other night, actually the premiere night, and that movie was pretty amazing. Yeah,
we're only at Tuesday, really, right now. So you asked me how my week's going. So that's why I was like, yeah, it's good. I hate the guy to ask me what my week's like on Tuesday. How's your week going? How's your week been? It's like, it's Tuesday, you motherfucker. I
survived Monday.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of Monday, yeah, that was President's Day. There was some inclement weather around the country, but Deadpool pooled in 20 million on Monday, and it brings up its total to 152 million at the box office for the 4-day weekend. They call it a 4-day holiday weekend. So
yeah, it snatched up a bunch of records this weekend.
If they even made records anymore, awards, I would say it smashed up. I guess I don't know, records. Yeah, records. I mean, it's not real records. It's not like record players, but you're saying like records as in that's a world record, right?
Yeah, well, the box office records, it definitely smashed them. It was only predicted, actually, to do 50 million over the 4-day weekend.
Oh, wow.
And, and it was budget, and the budget was a little over 50 as well. So yeah. It made over 200 worldwide total, but yeah, it's made back its budget and then some by this point.
Well, see, now that's an interesting thing. I got to go to the Box Office Mojo and check out the numbers there. But you would think something like Deadpool, in terms of it being a comic superhero thing, would do better numbers in foreign territories. Usually that number should be doubled, meaning if it made 152 here, it should actually be like 200 million there, which would really put it at 352 million. So you're saying it only made 52 million in the rest of the world?
The last time I checked, yeah, it was around that. I mean, I'm assuming most of the other countries didn't know or don't really know a lot about Deadpool.
I actually got it. I'm on. I've got it at 132 million. Is what it made over the weekend.
Over the weekend, worldwide or just here?
Total gross. Yeah, foreign total. The foreign total opening weekend is 132 million. And so if it made 152 domestically, it's now you're really at 280.
284?
Yeah. 284 so worldwide.
That means that it's already pretty much it's made a crap ton of money for a movie that nobody wanted to make. And everybody thought would flop because it was an R-rated superhero movie.
Including me. Remember? I think we should probably go back and that was our car. Remember the car podcast that we were both in the cars? And I said I didn't think this thing would be that well. I felt like I didn't think his comedy would play through the mask. And I'm assuming I don't know, does he wear the mask the whole movie or do you see that he's somebody else,
Not the whole movie. You do see him as himself quite a few times. And there's a lot of good stuff with him with the mask on and off.
Is he just Ryan Reynolds or is he like got a porn mustache and like some sort of crazy, hairdo?
He looks like Freddy Krueger Ryan Reynolds. Because his face is all messed up for most of the movie.
Why is it messed up?
Because when he went through these tests can't even speak. When he went through these tests to become a superhero, it wound up messing up his face. And
he had to go through a test to become a superhero? What do you mean? Like it's a
basically he found out that he had cancer and that he was going to die. And these people, the quote unquote bad guys offered him a shot at, beating the cancer. Basically, they gave him rapid healing powers, which unfortunately didn't go for his face, but it made him able to withstand any type of punishment. I mean, he chops his arm off at one point in the movie and grows a new arm back. So he's definitely unkillable.
It's made $284 million in 4 days. So you can pretty much rest assured that this thing is going to, definitely be in the 600 million range, So that's pretty damn cool.
I mean, and spoiler alert to anybody listening, they might want to fast forward like 20 seconds, but basically there's an end credit scene where Deadpool basically announces to the crowd that there will be a Deadpool 2. So obviously they're already planning for a sequel before it even made all this money, and now it's pretty much guaranteed that there'll be a Deadpool 2.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. I think I don't really know if that's a big spoiler alert that there's going to be a sequel when a movie is making $600 million. Really? Hey, dude, don't blow that. Don't blow it. They're probably already, they've announced it themselves probably. Now tell me about like how no one wanted to make this. Now I read somewhere that Ryan Reynolds like fought for this movie for years to get made. Is that true?
Yes. Basically what happened was, one, everybody's been wanting a Deadpool movie, and no studio wanted to make it because, in their opinions, an R-rated superhero film would not do good at the box office. It has to be PG-13 to reach that wide audience and make those mega millions of dollars that comic book movies do. And the people that wanted to make it, like Ryan Reynolds, said you can't make a PG-13 Deadpool movie. Well, he had been fighting for that cause for a while, and they eventually released X-Men Origins Wolverine, which was a PG-13 X-Men movie that had Deadpool in it. They completely changed the character, and not only did the fans crap on it, but it was a horrible movie overall, which didn't help.
But he played this Deadpool, right?
And he played this Deadpool, yes.
That's terrible.
And here's, the thing was, Deadpool is known as the Merc with a Mouth. He's, he has all these comebacks and one-liners, and is unbelievably raunchy. And to get to kind of forget that aspect of it, they sew Ryan Reynolds' mouth shut within like the first hour of X-Men Origins Wolverine, so he doesn't even talk for the rest of the movie.
Wait, why did they do that? Who did
Because
that?
he had a couple of one-liners in the beginning, and so and then he gets captured, and they sew his mouth shut. And basically, all the fans were like, "That's not Deadpool. That's complete and utter crap." And it was. It was a horrible movie.
They sewed his mouth shut like the bad guys did because he had too many one-liners. Were they like, "Oh God, this guy's annoying. I'm sewing his mouth shut," or was there a plot point to why they're sewing his mouth shut? Is what I'm asking.
Basically, the bad guys were annoyed at his quips, so they sewed his mouth shut.
Okay, let me ask you a question, because when you're saying this guy is crude with these sort of, and he's sort of, I forget what you worded him as. What did you say he was like? You said Deadpool.
One of his nicknames is the Merc with the Mouth.
When you said Merc with the Mouth, you meant mercenary with a mouth, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant Merc, like like the hair above the pubic hair patch. The Merc, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, and no.
I thought that's what he was. He was like a dick with the mouth. Merc with the mouth. Because, like the patch is called like a Merc, the little Merc area.
Yes.
Okay.
But no, and throughout the whole movie, even before, it's not like he became Deadpool and then he started spouting off one-liners. He was like that before, but afterwards it was definitely taken to another degree.
Right, because he got a little cocky because he had some superpowers. But in all honesty, Wade Wilson was kind of a douche. You're saying, right? I mean, because if you're that way and you're not a superhero, then you're just basically, you're Shooter Jennings at that point, right? You're just Shooter Jennings from what was that movie with Happy Gilmore? You know what I mean? You're just like a douche. Okay. So, yeah. but this movie, the numbers of this movie are pretty phenomenal. And I got to be honest, I didn't think it looked that good, but I saw only a Green Band trailer. So maybe I probably should have, people that were more interested in this topic and more interested in seeing movies like this, they probably saw the Rated R trailer online. It might have been a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean the PG-13 or the Green Band leaves a lot to be desired because it's not showing off really well what Deadpool is, obviously, since he's a lot more raunchy. But if you watch the two, they actually released 2 Red Band trailers, and those are hilarious, and the movie is 10 times even more hilarious than the trailers were. Which surprised me, and some of the jokes I'm really surprised that they let go through. Like they made fun of Fox quite a bit in this movie, and about being cheap, and they didn't pull any punches, and it was
right because basically this movie breaks the fourth wall, and he talks to the audience quite a bit, huh?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to go see it. I will go see it, and we can just we can definitely say, hey, I will talk about this at the next podcast. I got to be honest, like something has to be pretty good for me to get out and go see a movie because I don't like spending. I like getting my movies for free sent to me. You know what I mean? So for me to have to spend money, I'm so cheap. I'm pretty stingy. Frugal is the word. I've had frugal be used for me. Anyway, so that's Deadpool.
I've had to actually fight the urge to go see it multiple times. And, I mean, it's got, I think, like a 96% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's cool. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go check it out. I'm going to have to go check it out. I can't really add much to it, except that it's obviously doing freaking great. And I didn't think it would do that good. So I'm not the kind of guy that tries to rewrite history and stuff like that, like Donald Trump or somebody. I definitely did not think it was going to do numbers like this, and it did good numbers. So, but just like I said, I didn't think 50 Shades of Black was going to do very good numbers, And it didn't, because I didn't think that was the audience and the spoof and all that other stuff for an audience that doesn't see spoofs, and a spoof for audiences that didn't see the movie. But Deadpool, there obviously is enough awareness. It must have some major fans with comic books. And then the trailer looked funny, so it got a broader audience added to that.
I will say that I know a lot of people that have seen this movie that had no idea what Deadpool was about, never read the comics, never seen anything other than the trailer, and they went to see the movie and they absolutely loved it.
Right. All right.
And it just isn't their normal type of movie.
Oh, I will go and check it out. So what else is on tap here? Staying within movies, you texted me. You're like, here's what we're going to talk about. And then the next one was Kindergarten Cop 2. So you went from Deadpool. Okay, here's a thing that's breaking records, making 384 million or whatever it is. No, I'm sorry, 284 million over a weekend. And then the next thing you want us to go talk about Kindergarten Cop 2 with Dolph Lundgren or whatever. Okay, yes. So Dolph.
A movie that probably won't break any records.
I doubt it. Yeah, I mean, my friend produced it. He's actually working on another movie of mine right now, and he's made all the Devil Rejects movies. He made all of Rob Zombie's movies. His name's Mike Elliott, and he's made a lot of movies. This is a straight to Netflix DVD movie. I mean, did you see something that this was going to be released?
Yes, it was trending Facebook today. Apparently, they released the first photos from it of a kid talking with Dolph Lundgren. And I double clicked it because I was like, this can't be real. But apparently it is. It is a thing.
Dolph looks good. He looks good in the.
Oh yeah, he's definitely still in shape from all those Expendable movies that they've been doing.
Yeah. Who's his? Oh, and it's Bill Bellamy is his partner. God damn, man. That's good for Bill Bellamy. But I don't think this is coming out in the movie theater, dude.
No. This one is like you said. I believe it's straight to DVD.
Yeah, that's because this is part of the. My buddy Mike Elliott, he is a big producer on that side of the Universal, straight to DVD. Like the other one he did recently was Scorpion King 4. Or he'll do Little Rascals or whatever they are. Oh, right now he's making Death Race 5 probably over in England. I think he's literally shooting that right now. So what did you want to say about Kindergarten Cop 2 that cannot already be summed up in the fact that it's called Kindergarten Cop 2, starring Dolph Lundgren?
I don't know. That's just what I wanted to say. I just wanted to say I can't believe that they're making one, especially 30 years after the last one. I mean, some movies don't need sequels, and I feel like Kindergarten Cop is one of those classics that should not be touched.
Yeah. So I actually did mention Donald Trump for 1 second. You wrote here, Donald Trump possibly buying the Jeb Bush's site. What is that? What's Jeb Bush's site?
This is, I say possibly. Okay, so what happened was apparently in December, which is weird that we're not hearing about it until now. There was a tweet by a Donald Trump Twitter page, but not the official one, that jebbush.com, the domain had lapsed, and before anybody could renew it, they bought it. And now if anybody goes to jebbush.com, it forwards them to Donald Trump's website.
Oh my gosh. That's funny.
But Jeb, I did the research. He apparently has another one, like jeb2016.com or something like that. But I don't know. I just found it really hilarious that people who may not know his official website are like, oh well, jebbush.com. Let me go on that, and it takes them straight to Donald Trump's website.
Wow. Now that is the thing, though. And I don't know if you watched the Republican debates on Saturday or whatever. They're in your neighborhood, right? They're like. They're in your backyard right now, bouncing around, these idiots, right?
Yeah, they're beating down doors, and thankfully they haven't came to mine.
But they, they had the debate, and Donald Trump, he spent almost all of his time just directing insults and negativity towards Jeb Bush. He basically was attacking Jeb Bush, and it's kind of like, you look at Jeb Bush, dude, he's kind of like, he's like a Mickey Mouse Club character, like that grew up but didn't grow up. He should be wearing those Mickey Mouse ears and that, his white T-shirt that says Jeb on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, like, that's what he looks. He just looks, and it's kind of like a bully sort of thing. But I'm just wondering why he's beating up on Jeb Bush, because Jeb Bush is not a threat to Donald Trump politically right now in the race. Jeb Bush is like on life support system. So there's only two things that can make sense. Either Donald Trump is afraid of Jeb Bush because he has a lot of money with the super PACs and stuff, and he's worried about Jeb, as people drop out, he's worried about Jeb can stay in till the very end because he's always going to have at least 10, 11%. So he's going to qualify for debates the whole time. He's got money and he's just not going to get out. So therefore, there's a consolidation vote thing that's going to happen against Donald Trump. Donald Trump has about 36 to 40% of the Republican votes, but that leaves 60% to the rest of the field. So what happens is, as those people, when Mark Rubio quits or Cruz or Jeb Bush, their votes are not going to go to Bush. Their votes are going to go to more traditional conservatives. Do you know what I'm saying? And those 60% is being split. That pie is being split between all of these candidates. And so I'm just trying to figure out what is because Donald Trump is having an amazing campaign. He's running a very smart, calculated campaign. Don't have any doubt that this guy is not calculated with everything he says. He's a businessman. And if you read the, Art of the Deal, you know what you're in to do. You don't speak. You listen. You go and when you say something, it's calculated. So he made a point to attack Jeb Bush the entire time. And I'm just wondering, what is his game plan there? If it's something to, I don't know what that's about. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I don't know. I haven't really been looking into anything that's going on with politics. I guess I really need to start because
No, you really don't. You really don't. It's I'm into it because honestly, everyone that's you have Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, Ted Cruz is kind of a cartoon character. But Donald Trump is the number one cartoon character, him and Bernie Sanders. But you literally have characters right now that are just literally written for Saturday Night Live fodder. And they've already all been on. These characters are so much like Saturday Night Live characters that these actual people, Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, have been on Saturday Night Live playing themselves. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, really, I've never seen a time in American politics where we're almost guaranteed the next president is going to just be a buffoonery on Saturday Night Live every week. It's like, it's not since Will Ferrell had that awesome version of George W. Bush. You know what I'm saying? So I think this is going to be good for the country to have some character that can be easily impersonated by a lot of people. Because it's
going to be good for the comedy community for sure.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Well, anything good for the comedy community is good for the country. Anything that makes Saturday Night Live worth watching again is going to be good. So it's an interesting play, and that's enough. That's enough politics, right?
Yes. I think that's probably our monthly quota right there of politics.
Monthly? Jesus Christ! Come on, man.
We had a huge political thing in January. And now this was our huge moment for February.
Wait, what was our political one in January?
I think it was episode 2 or 3 when we talked about Clinton.
Episode 2.
We were talking about Hillary Clinton.
What did we say about
and how you didn't want her elected because she didn't step up to Bill when he was cheating on her in the White House.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I mean, because there's a lot of people that don't want her elected. That's right. The only reason I feel like this, she's disqualified from the moment she didn't kick that dude out of the, just kick him to the curb. He took advantage of an intern. I was an intern. I can tell you, I was an intern. I think I had that conversation with you back then. I've been an intern. You've probably been an intern. Yeah. And there were people, you see people's true colors. There were some people, Chris Farley, Adam Sandler, treated me very nicely. And then there was people, and I don't know if I mentioned their names in episode 2, but I'm not going to mention their names now, but they treated me as if they were the king and the pope, and they had all this power because we were peons and we were peasants. And when you have power, your true personality comes out. That's all I can say. When people have power, like this Donald Trump or Clinton or Bloomberg, when people have or Bill Gates or Zuckerberg, when you've got billions of dollars, your true personality comes out of what you really want to do in life, what you feel, what you value, because you'll have a lot of free time. So you will take advantage of that. And Zuckerberg is spending his money on building education, and same thing with Bill Gates and his wife, they put a lot of their money towards charities, and you don't see Bill Gates anywhere. He's not on a bumper sticker. He's not pounding his chest. You know what I mean? He made a ton of money. I remember people not liking that guy, but years ago, and people put Steve Jobs way up here, but Steve Jobs was a megalomaniac in a weird way. He wanted to be front and center. He was a prideful person, sort of took kind of made it seem like they were his ideas, so to speak, when really it's a big company that's developing this stuff over years. But Bill Gates was vilified in a weird way, but where's that guy at? You never see that guy. He's donated, almost a quarter of his worth to charities and stuff. And what was it? Zuckerberg, the that's his name, right? The Facebook guy.
Yeah.
He's donated 75% of his worth. Is that what it was? Something like $450 billion or something like that. I could look it up. I mean, I'm making numbers up now, so I can't back any of that up. But I know he's donated a lot, almost, I think, 75% of his worth. Now, he didn't give it all away now. It's a little bit each year. You know what I mean? Between now and when he turns 90, he will have donated 75% of his worth. But he's really betting on that other 25% turning into a lot of more money.
Oh, yeah.
So he's got a lot more money coming in. So anyway, speaking of megalomaniacs, Kanye West, you wanted to chat about Kanye. We should never really say his name right. I don't know if it is pronounced Kanye. People say Kanye, but maybe it's Kanye. Kanye? Could just be Kane, right? I don't know.
Yes, and it's actually the perfect time to bring up Kanye. And since you just mentioned Mark Zuckerberg, nobody knows what's going down with Kanye this week. He's been really talking trash about a lot of stuff online, and randomly Friday night he tweeted out that he was $53 million in debt. This was on Twitter. And he asked Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg to invest $1 billion into Kanye's ideas because he is, and I quote, the greatest living artist and the greatest artist of all time.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just got done saying that Zuckerberg is giving his money to charities. So Kanye is not a charity that is worthwhile, I would imagine. Greatest living artist. Honestly, I don't think I've ever heard a Kanye West song, so I wouldn't know what he does. And I've never seen his artistic other endeavors. I know he's got what does he have? What's that thing called? Fashion companies or whatever?
Yeah, he sells jackets that are $20,000 to $30,000 a piece.
You know what? Here's the deal. If I had that much money to spend on jackets, I wouldn't be cold. I just wouldn't be, because there wouldn't be a place that I would be cold. I'd be like, I don't need that. Why do I need a $20,000 jacket? I'm never going to be cold. I've got a guy picking me up at literally, if it's cold outside, the car is coming right to the door. You know what I mean? My driver is coming right to the door, and then I'm going inside, and I'm going into places that are 77 degrees. Maybe that's pretty warm, actually. You know, what's a good temperature? 69, 72. My rooms would be perfect 71 degrees everywhere. You know what I mean? If I had the kind of money that I was spending $30,000 on jackets, come on. I'm gonna do it a different way. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have air conditioned socks.
Oh yeah, I know. That'd probably be cheaper than a $15,000 to $20,000 jacket.
Well, here's the deal. There's plenty of people that wouldn't mind getting $30,000 a year cash to just, hey, 9 to 5. I work for Dave Sheridan. What do? I have this fan with this ice, and I have his body temperature on an app, and I make sure that he's constantly at 96.5 degrees. Why is that? Well, he likes to be in his underwear, and he doesn't want to give Kanye any money. He doesn't want to. He refuses to spend $30,000 on a jacket. When your jackets are on sale for $10,000, when they're 30% off, and they're still $10,000, you're still not selling any.
No.
So I can't go to Burlington Coat Factory, and get my Kanye West jackets, right? All right.
No.
You're going to love the way you look. Men's Warehouse is not selling Kanye West jackets. All right. Buy one, get one free. Joseph A. Banks. Did you ever see that Saturday Night Live Joseph A. Banks commercial?
I haven't.
It's really funny. We should find a link and put it on there. I found it because I remember they did one of those hoverboard commercials. That one's really funny too, with the hoverboards blowing up. Not the Back to the Future hoverboards, but those trendy things that people are, those board things, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, they're called hoverboards, but yeah, they don't hover and they do blow up.
Yeah, exactly. They should be called blow up boards, but because that's what they do. But anyway, they did a commercial where it was like the guy's going like 2 miles per hour and he's just doing like circles, but it's like radical. Hell yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, and they have action music with it and graphics, and it's like, whoa, dude, and it's like some sort of like as if you're doing something really cool on it, it's pretty funny, and they're high-fiving, but then the guy blows up and catches on fire. And then they're like, awesome. But that one had the Joseph A. Banks commercial. It was on YouTube, so then it had the Joseph A. Banks one where the lady, Joseph A. Banks, they're constantly like, buy one suit and get 2 suits free, free or whatever, right? So,
yeah.
So they did a thing where they were so disposable, the suits, that the lady was using them, like she was using it to clean up like spilled coffee on the countertop, like, thanks, Joseph A. Banks. And they're washing cars with them and stuff like that. It's pretty funny. So I'm not worried about him. I don't think he's worried about himself. After all, he's the greatest artist of all time.
Lived, yeah, of all time.
Ever lived. Oh, so I didn't know he was an art aficionado. So does he have a BFA in art? Does he really knows every artist that ever lived? He's like an expert in all forms of art.
Apparently.
So he knows all the master painters. So if I showed him some like 5 different master painters and didn't say who they were, he's going to know who they are. Because he must know all the artists.
Yeah,
right?
He's the greatest artist of all time. He would know.
Yeah. Okay. Could be. He could be. You never know.
So that brings us to our next topic of discussion. The Walking Dead wrap-up returns this week, and now I don't know if you knew about it, but before we were Dave and Creech on Creech Questions, when The Walking Dead is on, I have a segment with an actress who has been a walker multiple times on The Walking Dead, and we review that week's episode. Now you got to watch it on Tuesday, right?
No, because today's Tuesday. I watched it Monday night.
You watched it Monday night?
Because I don't own a TV. Yeah, I don't own a TV, so I have to wait for it to. It takes 24 hours for it to come on to streaming. So. I watched it. I watched my TV. I do watch TV shows and stuff, but I watched it all on my iPad because we don't actually have a physical like TV on a wall type of thing. I told you I'm frugal, dude. I don't like paying for like whatever that cable stuff is and all those things. better to get it streaming. So, well, I mean, I would say this. I think that unfortunately, again, hey, dude, you're talking about the guy that said Deadpool wasn't going to do well, right? So I probably don't know anything in life. I probably just realized now that, I don't know anything. Honestly, none of us really do. But I definitely, when it comes to culture and like, America and like, I think this will happen, or I think this will do this. I tend to be completely wrong. Like if I say something, that's going to be a hit. It's going to be a complete bomb because I'm so disconnected. But I personally think this is my opinion. And I love the show and I'm going to keep watching the show. I'll watch it till the end. But I do think that that was the jump the shark episode. If so far, if there's ever been if you could say, when did this show jump the shark? This might have been the one that it was the jump the shark, and it was the conclusion of the first half of the season of a jump the shark season. This was a jump the shark season, and I can explain it to you in many ways. The biggest one is that Rick, the ending of this episode was like, Carl, you were right. I was wrong and I didn't see it. And now I see it. We can do this. We can rebuild, right? All this stuff. And he's talking about rebuilding Alexandria, right? But Rick single-handedly destroyed Alexandria. You do realize that, right?
Yes.
They had it going on before Rick and his crew showed up. It was a mistake to have these guys show up and let them live in there. Rick ended up killing almost everyone that was a resident of Alexandria, except for the two guys that brought them there, Eric and what's the other guy's name?
Eric and Aaron.
Eric and Aaron, they're still alive. The doctor girl is still alive, but she was not. She was brought on. She really wasn't there in that first sort of rendition of Alexandria, from what I remember. She kind of was like introduced a little the next season. And who else is left? The one son is left. And is her name Edith? What's her name?
Which
the
one?
Girl.
The little girl, the baby
the one
girl?
That ran away.
The one that ran away.
Yeah.
Now I'm drawing a blank right now, and that's so bad. I've had her on the podcast. She was the first person. She was the first person actually on the Dave and Creed show. I know her real name is Caitlin Nakon. But drawing a blank as to her character's name right about now. Enid. There we go.
Enid. I was close. I said Edith.
Yes.
I was closer than you because you didn't know it at all, but she's alive. Now she'll who knows what will happen to her. She's kind of a loose cannon. I think the other guy, the son, the senator's son, is going to die real soon. You know what I mean? Maybe in the next episode. We don't know. I mean, hey, I don't know. I couldn't tell you exactly. Who's that guy? Do you know the guy I'm talking about?
You're talking about Spencer?
Yeah, Spencer. And what was his mom? His mom was
Deanna.
Deanna. She ran the place, right?
Yeah.
But think about it. Think of who's died in there. Rick brought it all. You know what I mean? It was Rick's idea, going like, all right, here's our plan. We're gonna go to that quarry, and we're gonna lead all these Pied Pipers. We're gonna lead these zombies on some parade, right? And it just backfired and pretty much destroyed all of Alexandria. And before that, he got a lot of other people killed anyway. You know what I mean? But except for his team, most of the people that were in Alexandria behind walls, perfectly safe, are dead now.
Of course, they were the red shirts.
Yeah, and so Rick, Rick caused all that, and for him to go, we're going to rebuild. I was wrong. It's like, dude, they don't want you here. You're better off. But the real jump the shark moment, though, is look, most TV shows jump the shark when the couple gets married and they have the baby, right? That's the general consensus of jump the shark is the couple usually they sort of hey, that they the sort of unrecorded love story, like Friends or whatever, when they get married and then they're going to have a baby, it usually goes one more season and then it's over. In this particular thing, that baby, when they showed that baby and the age of that baby now, and how they had to completely write this weird scene of getting rid of this baby. It's the baby has already jumped the shark, where it's kind of annoying, like with the storyline. It's like, what do we do with the baby? Oh, you take it back. You take it back to the church. Okay, I'll take it out of the, out of the scene. I'll take it out of the plot. Well, let's just get it out of here. It's got nothing going on. It's a total jump the shark thing. But when the son, Coral, gets his eye shot out, and I knew that was coming from the comic books, right? You knew that was coming from the comic books, right? But so, Chandler is a good-looking kid. He's kind of the heartthrob with all these teen girls, Chandler, and he's got that hair, and he's a good-looking kid. Here's your jump the shark moment. You've literally now made this kid grotesque with this missing eye, and I think that's a mistake. Another thing about a TV show is once it hunkers down, this show was great when it was nomadic. I liked it when it was nomadic. Hey, we're going to go to the farm. We're going to go to the prison. We're trying to get to Terminus. We're trying to get to Washington, D.C. You know what I mean? We're holed up in this church. They basically are not leaving Alexandria. It's not going to happen. This is it. And that's your jump the shark. Number one is solidifying the sets, making a show a little bit less expensive. People get a little lazy. The laziness might occur. I don't know, but people become sedated as humans if you stay in one place. And now I'm talking on the TV show. I'm talking workers. I'm talking production staff. Things that can really affect the jump the shark moment. But Chandler with no eye, the baby is becoming sort of a useless sort of prop at this point, and it's becoming a hindrance to scenes. And obviously with Negan coming, that's going to infuse some good shit. I did love that. I loved that scene at the top with the saviors. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Love that scene. I mean, and when he blew them up, I think that was really well done. And that actor, it's a shame because I really was digging that actor. I don't know who that actor was. I didn't look up his name or whatever, but the guy, we should get him on. He was great.
I agree. Yeah, we can definitely look into it. I can send an email over to my contacts at AMC and find out his manager's info to get him on, because it was amazing.
Right. Yeah, he was some good stuff. So what else? But that was basically it. I mean, I'm looking forward to where it goes, but I do feel like Rick is the most. It's hard to. I don't know how I can like him as a hero anymore, because he literally is just a guy making just the world's worst decisions, and he literally brought such death and destruction to Alexandria. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's almost like a comedy, you know where I stand on all that. So
yeah, it's
kind of funny. But you're going to talk to Alyssa. I would like to get in on those. I want to get in on that conversation. Can I do that?
Yeah, I can arrange that.
This is all connected. You show up, and now 3 of us are gone.
Why'd you bring us here? This is the fucking guy who served the whole county.
Pretty good. How are you? It's been so long.
I know, my God, it's been, what, over 2 months, I think?
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like years, though. I don't know why.
It really has, and actually, this is the first time that you are making an appearance on the Dave and Creech show. As
That's true.
Yeah, because the last time we did it, it was still Creech questions. So for those listening who just started with Dave and Creech, what this is we review The Walking Dead. Occasionally we'll have guests, like actual main cast from The Walking Dead and people involved with the whole fandom of Walking Dead. And our co-host has a very special tie to The Walking Dead herself, as she's been a walker on multiple episodes.
Yes, sir.
I don't know how else to describe this week's episode.
Oh my gosh, it just makes me feel so happy inside. I don't know when this episode did something to me. I was like shaking the whole time. I actually had a physical reaction to it. It was so intense and would not let up, and it was just relentless. But I love that. That's what we all love about the show, and they delivered it in all aspects. Everything was covered. It was just, I think it was the best of the whole entire series so far.
I have to agree. If not the best, definitely one of the top ones. And I'm kind of leading towards agreeing with the best, though, because one of my problems with the show, especially the last couple seasons, is there's characters that get thrown in the back. And, you know, it focuses on one group of survivors. So, like, there's never a time where everybody gets their moment. But in this episode, literally everybody who's still alive on the show had their moment.
Yeah, I saw flashes of people that we hadn't even seen before, and they all had their time to shine. That character flash when they were all working together, oh my God, that was so beautiful. I loved that. It was awesome.
Yeah, I saw Francine in that, and Jordan Woods Robinson got to do quite a bit in there too.
I know. I was gonna say that. Go Jordan. That was sweet.
Yes, I'm pretty stoked that maybe that means Eric will have a more pivotal role to play in the second half.
Gosh, I hope so.
But like, I don't even know where to start. I guess obviously the beginning. I wasn't expecting the whole confrontation with Negan's men to end the way that it did.
I didn't either. I was actually kind of just, I don't know what I was waiting for. I didn't think they were going to kill somebody right then and there, so I was like, oh, well, what's going to happen next? And then that happened, and I thought it was awesome, but then immediately after I thought of you, and I'm like, well, this makes Daryl look even more badass, you know, and CJ's going to hate that. It's just like, my gosh, they just put him on another level. I was like, oh, come on. Yeah, they would make Daryl do that. But it was awesome.
After the initial, oh my God. Yes, there was plenty of eye rolling my way once it was revealed that Daryl had the rocket launcher. And not only that, he was the only person that got to touch that gun. He got to fire it twice in the episode.
I know, yeah. No kidding. It was Abraham that basically risked his life to get that thing, and he doesn't even get to fire it.
I know, and it seems like seemingly everybody that was part of Negan's group is dead. So I'm wondering, well, and once again I do say seemingly, because I'm wondering how word gets back to him about the attack. I'm assuming the guy that Daryl supposedly killed in the back, he didn't wind up killing. That's the only way, because everybody else got blown up. So unless Negan has like cameras or something, I mean, he's not going to know who to go after.
Well, I mean, and that's a pretty loud explosion. Maybe I know like in the comic they have like different areas that they have like staked out. So I don't know, maybe it just draws attention and they realize it's their men, and I don't know. And then they had the big explosion back at Alexandria, so they're making a lot of noise. I don't know, that's the only thing I can go off of, is they're probably a lot closer than they think they are. I mean, look how close they were to all those walkers in that quarry, and they were totally oblivious. So Negan could have been here the whole entire time, you know, and we just haven't crossed paths yet, and now we are.
And
the only thing I can think of.
The other thing, then this actually doesn't, it had nothing to do with what I was watching. Well, kind of it did. Was the whole time when they were with all the walkers in Alexandria, I was saying to myself, I remembered a conversation we had on the podcast where you'd said that you were approached to be in an episode, but you couldn't make it last year, and for some reason I'm thinking that time frame was around the time that they were filming this episode.
Oh, man, it probably was, yeah.
So I'm just like, oh, I bet she's kicking herself. That's such an epic moment to be a part of. Because, I mean, they had to have had at least 300 live walkers there, because that definitely didn't seem to be too much CG.
I think Greg on Talking Dead said they did like 1,200 makeup. So, like, they had a lot of people. I mean, I kicked myself any time that I had to turn it down for any reason, because it's just like any time you can be a part of it, any single time you're there is amazing. But yeah, that night, man, I wish I could have been there. That was like history in the making right there.
I definitely agree. And speaking of another by-the-book comic scene, I mean, Carl getting his eye shot off is just graphically intense.
Oh my gosh. It's a weird word to describe it, but it really was like so beautiful the way that they did it. Like, I can't, I mean, when he turned around and he said Dad, it was just like straight from the comic. I mean, it looked visually amazing, and Chandler, man, he killed it. I mean, only he could do that part so well. Like, it brought, just that one word brought across so many emotions, for me at least, you know, and obviously Rick's character, but oh my God, it was heartbreaking.
Oh, I definitely agree. It was definitely heartbreaking, and poor Rick just got his heart broken in 50 million pieces, as did I last night.
No kidding. I mean, and hey, let's talk about a leap of faith by Rick. I mean, trusting Gabriel to take Judith. I was surprised, but I mean, like, can you just imagine if he had said, no, she's going to stay with me, and then all that stuff that went down would have happened with her? Oh my God. But, you know, that's another thing. Judith is really invincible. She's kind of untouchable these days. That kid does not cry, ever.
I know, right? She's becoming more of a badass than Daryl in a completely different way. She's like a super baby. So yeah, I know my heart was broken last night on Valentine's.
What was that?
I said I know my heart was broken last night on Valentine's Day.
Oh, I know. We all knew it was coming. You hadn't prepared for this, CJ?
I did.
Come on, I tried prepping you when I sent you those pictures way back when.
I know, but I just I didn't want to believe it. I was going on blind faith that everything was going to be okay. I was fine with the kid dying. He deserved to die.
Right, yeah.
And I was even fine for other kid too. But like, this is just
that was
brutal.
pretty heartbreaking. And they even slow-mo'd it. You know, the whole thing was kind of like slowed down. So that was probably torture for you too, just to see it happen. Her just slowly get devoured.
Not just that, just like then they had to go through the whole almost film-like kind of film-like technique. And they had first when she was screaming and getting eaten, like they had shots of her from previous episodes with Rick, tearing up, and then when he's hitting her, with the axe, every time he's landing on her with the axe to her hand and arm, you see the flashes of red of her face and everything, and I'm just like, stop! You're killing me, and you're killing her.
Yeah, that was really sad.
The freaking...
I can't imagine, man, having your kid eaten right in front of you. Man.
The Breckenkrete ship has been sunk.
Yeah, officially.
Like, it's so bad. I still can't get over that today.
You probably won't for a while. I mean, you probably still mourn Lori, right?
Well,
so you never really...
I did?
Never really...
I did, but, Jesse helped me get past that, like Rick. And now we're suffering again.
You're just on the same journey as Rick right now.
Exactly.
Man.
I can say I'm basically Rick Grimes right now.
Aww. Well, keep quiet on what comes next.
Hopefully, my as long knock on wood. Thankfully, my daughter hasn't been shot in the eye.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh my God, keep her close.
So apparently, just my love life is like Rick's right now.
There you go. We'll just probably keep it that way then.
All the ladies I like die. I mean, at least it's just a show, and I know she'll go on to do better things, but still.
Yeah, she'll always be a part of Walking Dead. So you have that. You'll always see her.
Yeah. Now I gotta take the requisite photo with her, of me crying.
Yeah.
Or just bring in somebody cosplaying as Rick and get her to pretend like she's hatcheting him, so I could be like, "Ha, that's what you get, Rick. She's alive."
No kidding. Wow. Yeah, and it's so sad because you think, wow, and then after that all happens, then they all get together and they just, totally take back Alexandria. It's like they just missed it. Oh, man. By, probably minutes.
I know. That little boy should have shut his mouth for just a little bit more. And then,
I would have just yanked him towards me and held him and dragged him if I needed to. With my hand over his mouth. You know what I mean? Like, she was, sitting there trying to be like, please, come on. I would have been like, no, you are getting over here right now. We are not dying today.
I'd have punched him right in the face and knocked him out.
Yeah, desperate times call for, desperate measures. I agree.
Sometimes when you're freaking out, and I know this from personal experience, like when I landed on a pitchfork when I was younger, the only way to get me to stop freaking out was my mom had to slap me in the face. So what I would have done, I'd have just cold cocked that little kid, threw him on my shoulder, and just carried him.
No shit. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, man.
What's worse, a bruised eye or his life? I mean, come on.
Yeah, you chose to watch him get eaten. I mean, come on. He had people pleading with him. Come on, someone push him along. I mean, Michonne, come on and grab the little kid. She's not afraid to do that.
And once he was getting eaten, somebody should have just took her off of, made her release the hand. Because, I mean, once he's getting eaten, there's no coming back. That book's already been written. Just keep on, keep moving.
Yeah.
You can always procreate and create new babies later.
Little Rick babies. Oh, not anymore.
Not anymore.
She is.
But the listeners.
I can't wait.
The listeners knew of my heartbreak as soon as it was happening, and everybody was tweeting me on Twitter. So sorry for your loss, CJ.
Right, yeah. I saw a little bit of that. That's funny. Aw. You made your love for her very, very known. Everybody knew how much you cared for her.
I know. Apparently everybody but the writers of the show.
Well, they don't care about anybody's feelings.
Yeah, they're like...
Even the actors don't want to leave, and they're like, no, you're dead. You're going. I'll be like, they're not.
Well, until they prove me wrong, I'm still going to say that they do care about the Daryl people. Because that guy still hasn't been killed yet.
That is true. What, did he get a little scratch or something from that altercation with the dude behind the truck? It's like, oh, yeah, he got me a little bit. Really? How are you so quiet? He's like a ninja.
I know. And once again, the moral of this was just, the Walking Dead writers gave me a 1-2 punch, and then Daryl is never gonna die. Apparently. Hopefully I'll be proven wrong.
Oh, no. No, oh, he'll die. It's just like, I know he will.
Now, I do have to... Let's see, I'm trying to remember what else happened. The wolf. There we go.
Yeah.
So, in the end, it seemed like Morgan was a little bit right, and he did get redeemed.
I don't know. I didn't trust anything that dude said. He seemed like he liked the game. That's what he enjoyed about it. He took her, and he was just toying with her the whole time. I didn't see it as like he cared at all about her well-being. I think he had a purpose for her, and it was probably a sick purpose. But either way, he thought it was worth going back. I don't think he did it because he really wanted to spare her life because he liked her, or had a change of heart.
Maybe, just maybe, he actually, he had, on death's door, he was like, well, okay, maybe I need to do something good karmically. Because, once he got bit, I don't know. See, I tend to think at that point, he really had nothing to lose, though. Once Carol shot him and he was still like, go. He could have easily just flopped himself on top of Denise or held on to her like little douchebag kid did, and they could have got devoured together, but he did let her live.
You are ever the optimist. I just didn't trust that guy.
Oh, I didn't say I.
But you know who did?
I
you know who did redeem themselves though was Gabriel. Gabriel did redeem himself to me.
He did, and he helped participate. I'm not saying I would trust the wolf with anything, but I'm saying he at least proved that there was some good at him, because in the end, he did choose to go out in a honorable way. Do I still think Morgan was right for doing that? No. But in the end, I think he had a choice to make on how to go out, and he chose to, after everything he did, which was always horrible stuff, he still chose to at least give Denise a fighting chance.
I guess that's true. I guess without him doing that, she would not. It would not have led her to make it, and she would not have been there to help Carl. So there is a reason for everything, I guess.
And I'd still like to also notate that I still think Morgan is way wrong. And
yeah, when Carol said, I believe she said I should have killed you, right?
Yes.
I don't want to be wrong. Okay, yeah. When she said that, I was like, man, I'm just with Carol all the way. But Carol's shell that she has built is cracking, and it's kind of nice to see that, because I think she needs to get back to that, to feel a little bit.
Yes, and I did get a little chuckle out of her. I should have killed you. I don't know why I found that hilarious, but yeah, she's. I don't know how much longer she's going to be able to go the way that she has been without some sort of breakdown, because you can start to see the kind of chinks in her armor, and something's going to have to give eventually.
Yeah, and I'll also note for Carol is she kind of indirectly killed Sam, that poor kid. I mean, it was funny at the moment when it happened, but when you look back on it, it's such like a fucked up thing to say to a little kid he never experienced it. He didn't know, so that was nightmarish to him, and then he was experiencing it and hearing her words, and I do realize how wrong Carol was for doing that.
I know, and
in retrospect.
Yeah, we have video, well, not video, but audio evidence of you, and I think me too, completely like, yeah, that's awesome. Carol's awesome.
Yeah.
That little boy deserved it. That was so hilarious.
Yeah, I know. Like, in the moment, it was so funny, but now I'm like, oh, wow, yeah, we're jerks.
Now, mud on my face, that wound up leading my woman to get killed, so now it's not so funny.
Yeah, no kidding. Jeez. So Carol has some emotions that she needs to go through, and she needs to let it out. That's how she'll better herself, and that's how she'll make herself stronger, because if she puts up this facade any longer, like she's so strong and she doesn't feel anything and she's going to do what it takes, like she's just going to end up dead. You kind of need to go through that process where you feel a little bit.
Knowing what happens in the comic books, like, I just can't get, I have troubles trying to figure out how they're fitting all of this in 7 episodes. And there's going to be a lot of ground to cover, and there's going to be a lot of new characters, both exciting and absolutely horrifying.
Yeah, and Dwight could have a part to play in it still in these next episodes as well. I mean, we only caught a glimpse of him, and he was seemingly on the run from Negan's group already. So he's already involved with Negan in some way. So I wonder how he's going to play into all this. So maybe we'll see him still.
Exactly. Yeah, I do know we'll see Dwight again, because, granted, it's not always a given, even if it's on there. It had him listed at least for 2 more episodes on IMDb.
Ooh, okay. I never thought to check on there.
So yeah, there is a lot of stuff, a lot of big people, and overall, I'm just glad to be to be doing this again. It's been, like I said, it's been way too long.
I know. I'm so relieved. As soon as I got done with the episode, I'm like, oh my god, I cannot wait to talk about it with everybody again. And then we have Fear coming up, and that's, oh my gosh. It's an exciting time. Let's just say all around. It's amazing.
I can make these people feel better and hang on a little bit longer. I can save lives. That's reason enough to risk mine.
So last week you were at Days of the Dead, right?
Yes.
Last weekend, not about a week ago. And one of the guys you caught up with was my buddy Tony Todd. And he was there. I think he goes to that one pretty regularly, the Days of the Dead. Fill me in on what was like one big thing what was something new coming down the pipe on Tony?
Oh, he's got a bunch of new projects, and he's actually I can't really say much about it, but he is shooting a new pilot for a very big show that's going to be on CBS. Can't say more than that. But no, I mean he's also on The Flash right now as the villain Zoom. And he's continually coming out with all sorts of new projects. Is actually with the podcast being released this week, next week he's got a movie that's coming out called Frankenstein. That he says
Never heard of it.
Was really good. It's apparently tested well at where they have shown it. It unfortunately didn't get to go to theaters because of the fact that the last 2 movies that had that Frankenstein subject matter bombed.
Right.
I, Frankenstein and Igor the one with Daniel Radcliffe, completely bombed, so they weren't willing to take a chance on putting it in theaters even after the good reviews it's gotten, so they're releasing it straight to DVD. But the reviews said it's good, and I'm actually pretty stoked to see it myself.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dave and Creed Show. I am here with the awesome and iconic Tony Todd. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm wonderful today. It's Super Bowl Sunday.
Yes.
Here we are.
We are here. I've been hearing you're unfortunately going to have to miss the Super Bowl, but do you want to post some thoughts on who you think is going to win tonight?
Oh, well, I know who should have won. Would have been New England Patriots, but we'll wait till next year.
You've had a long and varied career in film. You've played Candyman. You've been in Star Trek. You're also now on The Flash, right?
Yes,
Season 2. How is it playing Zoom? How is it going all these years and getting to play so many different characters, but yet you still have iconic roles that you get every it seems like every decade. You've definitely reinvented yourself, because you had Candyman, really, which was big in the 90s, and then The Coroner and the Final Destination series, and now Zoom with The Flash.
Yeah, and there's more to come.
And there is more to come. What's been some of your favorites roles that you've played throughout the years?
Roles are like for an actor, or it should be for actors. They're like children, so everybody's special. Some have special needs. I'll never forget Platoon because it was my very first film. The whole Star Trek experience to be able to walk, my first scene doing Star Trek Next Generation was on board the Enterprise. And so as a fan of the original, that was like I had to, steady myself under my Klingons, so Klingons don't shake. So that was great. And I grew up an only kid, so part of my whole journey and survival of those high school years is my imaginary friends in my head. So as an adult, and I also trained as an actor. I'm not just an accidental actor. I have a master's in theater. That's what I do. And so I've learned how to give form and format to each of these visions and interests, and the rest is beautiful. I love what I do. Love it. It sustains me. It's gotten 2 kids through college.
You're more well-known, as you can say, for Candyman. It's probably one of your most iconic.
Depends on the crowd.
Yeah. I do have to ask, I don't see an 8x10 of that, but I really enjoyed your work on Holliston. How was it getting to play a more comedic role for that episode that you did with Holliston?
Well, I love Adam. Adam and I go back a long time. In order to do things that are outside the box, you have to trust your director, and I trust him explicitly. And it was a chance to, at that point, to try to spoof a certain side of a certain image. It was fun, and we created a great environment. And I just recently did a scary sleepover with him. Here's another web. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen that one yet, but that's where they tell stories from their childhood, right? Mm-hmm. I think I've seen some of the first season of that.
You should see mine. I'm in the first episode of season 2. It's gotten a lot of fan reactions, so you might want to take a look.
Okay, I will definitely take a look.
It's online. Yeah, you can just go to Scary Sleepover.
And now you also are in video games with Call of Duty 2, Black Ops.
Half-Life 2. We did Star Trek Renegades. So, yeah.
How is it getting to...
for another one this week. And yes, I do still audition half the time. I just auditioned with 2 TV series before I left L.A.
Oh, nice.
I've never done a series regular. I've been in a couple pilots, but I never did a series regular. It wasn't interesting. But they convinced me to go in on this one. I wish I could tell you, but it's a graphic novel, very famous graphic novel, and completely different from anything on TV. That's what intrigues me.
I know they announced that there's going to be a Holliston season 3. Are you going to be coming back at all for that?
I can't predict the future. But Adam's a good friend of mine, so if he needs me, I walk to Mars for him.
Let's see. We're going back to the early 90s. When you first read the script for Candyman, what was your original thoughts on it?
When I first got the call, I didn't audition for Candyman. I got a call saying, I want to see you in this project. I didn't know what they meant because I only heard the title. Went in, met with Bernard, who is a dear friend of mine, Bernard J. Rose. I knew when I looked at the script, that I had no idea it would last this long, but I knew that it was definitely an iconic character. I knew that the bees was something that had never been done and probably will never be done again. You know, just because those are practicals. It wasn't CGI, that was real time. Those are bees coming out of my mouth, and that shot alone is forever. The good news is that Bernard and I just reunited for a version of Frankenstein that, if you Google it, it's gotten rave reviews. We just got another one this morning. Comes out at the end of February, Blu-ray. So you got Xavier Samuels playing the monster, myself playing a blind homeless musician, Carrie Ann Moss from The Matrix, and Danny Houston. It's a good cast. It's not some, like, you know, and Bernard and I hadn't worked together in 20 years, even though we stayed in contact. So.
That definitely does sound like an amazing Blu-ray that would definitely need to be purchased.
Definitely. The only reason when they get theatrical is because that other Frankenstein that got put out that tanked.
Oh, yeah, the one with, I think, Aaron Eckhart or I, Frankenstein or something like that, I think it was?
Another one after that, the Daniel Radcliffe one.
Oh, okay.
With Victor. It went away in a week.
Oh, wow.
But ours is one for the ages, I'm telling you.
And now...
right now is on the Alamo. There's an Alamo Theater Company. Have you heard of them? They started in San Antonio. Mm-hmm. So he went to... I couldn't come because I was committed here. But he's gone to 5 different theaters, and it's sold out houses, and people are blogging about it online.
Awesome. And you said that comes out at the end of February?
Yep. It comes out on 22nd in the UK and 27th, I believe, in the United States.
Okay. And then another role that you were involved with in the 90s was in the remake of The Night of the Living Dead. Right. How was it stepping into the shoes of something that somebody else has done? Was there any sort of nervousness about doing that role?
No, good actors are always nervous. And if you're not nervous, then you should quit. Because that first day on set, you're like, you should have butterflies in your stomach. I mean, no matter how skilled you are, but I hardly get any sleep the day before my first day on set because I'm so excited. I'm a kid. It's like Christmas. You understand? Opening a new gift and seeing what's in there. I was in Pittsburgh doing a project separate from that, and I heard that they were doing a remake. When I was a very young man, I saw the original in a drive-in theater. You remember those?
Yes.
Some of the best ways to see movies.
There's, I think, one in South Carolina left.
Unfortunately. There used to be, everywhere. But anyway, so watching the original in black and white in the drive-in theater, nobody wanted to go to the concession stand. I mean, it was so impactful. And as an African-American, I see a fellow actor that's carrying the movie. So that sealed it for me. I knew I wanted to do that. And then when I had opportunity, Tom, who's also a good friend, thought he had already knew what he wanted to do, but I kind of grabbed him, sat him down, and just did a monologue for him, and that was on a Saturday. Monday I had the job.
Awesome, and you did an amazing job. It's actually one of, honestly, in my opinion, one of the few remakes that lives up to, if not surpasses, in some aspects, the original.
I wouldn't go that far because the original was very important, not only to the history of horror. George Romero just tweeted this morning that it's the 25th anniversary of that film. Can you believe it?
Oh, wow.
25. And I think it's already gotten a lot of likes.
Oh, yeah. And he just celebrated a birthday, too. Now you worked with him as well, because I know he helped do the remake, correct?
Yeah, he was
Savini directed,
yeah.
And then, okay.
Yeah, he was there.
And
that was also, George Romero. I have a lot of respect for people that, had a stranglehold on what everybody in this room appreciates.
Okay. And now with The Flash and Zoom, were you a big comic book fan growing up? Was there any certain favorites?
I was the only kid, so of course, the guy that brought me into the comic world was, of course, Batman. Bob Kane's Batman, okay? But as time went on, I was more of a Green Lantern person, not the movies, because it was all about imagination with him. He could just will whatever that was, and whatever he needed would come out. That would intrigue me. But I guess if I had to, Batman would be my number one.
Okay.
Yeah, well, so I was more of a DC guy, but I also love Steve Ditko and,
Well, personally, I am a DC guy as well.
Yeah.
First word I ever said was bat, and that's actually
there you go.
It's actually legitimate.
See, you're a little young for this, but I remember because I used to have to commute between my grandmother and my aunt who both raised me, and you go to the bus stop And there used to be newsstands right by there with comics, nothing but comics. And they would let you browse for maybe 10 minutes as long as you bought 2, right? And you look to see, okay, what's it? And that would be my day. I grabbed 6 comic books, go over to my grandmother's house, and have my entertainment.
Yeah, it's sad that the comic books aren't as big as they used to be now because of electronics and all that and everything.
You need that handheld thing, man, particularly with comic books. You got to save each page, you got to read the dialogue, you got to vision what's going on. But, you know, everything has its own cycle, its own life force.
Exactly. Well, I don't want to keep any more fans away from your table, so I do want to thank you again for doing this interview.
Talking to you.
Thank you, sir.
You got a lot of information.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Take care. Tell Dave I said hello.
All right. I will do that.
And so here's the thing. One thing we're going to start doing, because we got to do something good in the world, right? Even if we try a little bit. This was Rusty had an idea. You love Rusty, don't you? Are you dating? Are you dating Rusty?
I'm not. But yes,
you love. She's got a lot. Like we said before, she's committed, and she is committed. But so Rusty's definitely one of our major supporters, and she's come on board to help us creatively too, and give us ideas and stuff. And one thing she came up with that we're going to start doing is we're going to have like a weekly sort of spotlight on a GoFundMe person. Do you like that idea, Creech?
I do. It's a good thing to give back to those and help out those with our audience that, you know, maybe looking for something to support or someone to help out. And, you know, I know if I was down, it's always good to get a helping hand.
Exactly. So we're going to try to frame them up with each month, and we're in February, and it's Heart and Stroke Month for February. And so we're going to basically focus, one of these episodes each will focus on somebody on a GoFundMe in that kind of situation. And this lady, her name is Bernice Walker. Hey, that's perfect. Good choice because she's a walker, right?
Yeah, there's a Walking Dead reference somewhere in there.
The best part about Bernice Walker is she's trying to GoFundMe. She's trying to get a scooter because she can't walk anymore. But her name's Bernice Walker. But she had a stroke, and she's really unable to get around. So now she's trying to raise money to get one of those hover around rascal scooter type things, yes. Right? It does say scooter, so I don't know if she wants to join a scooter gang or what her situation is, but she seems like a nice woman. She's local in the Carolinas, and basically, so Bernice, she had a stroke, and she's trying to get a walker. And here's the thing: I don't know how much. I don't know on GoFundMe. Maybe she's trying to make $500K for all her bills and stuff. I don't. That's a lot to raise. But right now, after 2 months, she has $0. Zero. So, I think she can probably do a little bit better than that, right? So we're going to try to help her out and put her link up. When you post a link of the new show, I will post a link as well for this Bernice GoFundMe, and she's got a little Facebook page. So maybe I will, I'll send her a Facebook thing as well, so that she knows she's being featured for the GoFundMe. Person of the week is Bernice Walker, who can no longer walk. But since we like Walking Dead, and we were just talking about walkers, and her last name is Walker, but she's trying to get a scooter, seems apropos. What do you think?
I believe so too. I think everybody, our listeners should go out and give Miss Walker a hand or a scooter.
Yeah, or nothing at all.
Spread it. If you can't donate, just share it. I mean, maybe somebody else who can will.
Yeah. Okay. Now I have to go get a donut. I hope that didn't make you hungry, but I got to eat something. So we're going to wrap this up right now. Thank you once again for listening to Dave and Creech. This was episode 7.
Shut up and sit down.
Thank you for listening to the Dave and Creech Show. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of Dave and CJ. These views and opinions do not necessarily represent those of Creature Creative Productions or any of its affiliates.